Sup YouTube, it's ZapdosTCG here and welcome back to another TCG deck profile video on my channel with Paldea Evolved. Gardevoir EX will be the strongest deck in the format because it gains a lot of new cards from Paldea Evolved. If you like videos like this, be sure to let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button, and let's just get this deck profile out of the way with. So, Gardevoir EX, I don't know if you've been living under a rock, but it has already been performing quite well. Yeah, people that have been doing really well with it is like people like Tord Radcliffe, also the Schultz brothers decided to be playing Gardevoir, so it does make sense that in even the format before Paldea Evolved, Gardevoir is strong. Then added some crazy cards like Reversal Energy, Super Rod, and you're gonna be getting a very strong archetype. Definitely, if you consider that Gardevoir is a deck that falls behind kind of easily in the early games, and then you have, of course, Iono to come back. So a very strong comeback card that we're gonna be talking about it, all about it in this video. So yeah, let's just start it off with Psychic Embrace. You can, as often as you like, accelerate a Psychic Energy from your discard pile to one of your Psychic Pokemon. If you do, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon, and you cannot knock something out if you utilize this ability. So when something only has 20 HP left, you cannot use the ability. But this means infinite energy acceleration, since this deck will be playing 11 Psychic type energies. That means that Gardevoir has access to infinite energy acceleration for your Pokemon, and specific Pokemon actually slap huge damage depending on how many energies they have stacked on. So very strong. Its attack is also not too bad because this list is also playing 3 rare candy. You're going to be able to use Miracle Force as early as the second turn if you want to start taking some knockouts. It's only a 2-price Pokemon and it comes back with 310 HP. Then there's of course the Shining Arcana. This is going to be the star with Paldea Evolved, because Shining Arcana not only lets you allow you to look at the top 2 cards of your deck and accelerate energies you find there, it also draws cards if they are not energies. And on top of that, Brainwave slaps 60 damage for every Psychic Energy attached to this Pokemon. You might think, oh, it only has 140 HP. It's gonna be pretty hard to get more than 270 damage output, right? So you have 6 energies and then the attach of the turn, you're gonna be stuck with 270 damage output. Well, there are ways around this. Either you could be playing Champions Festival, which is a stadium card that yeah, people from the World Championships get. I know it's pretty expensive, but in other languages, it could be a little bit cheaper. That could be a way you can boost his damage output. And more importantly, in this specific build, I'm trying to go low-key budget with the 1 copy of Reversal Energy, allowing you to, if you're falling behind, attach that Reversal Energy, then absorb 6 energies from the discard pile, and do go for the one-hit KO on V Maxes and V Star. So 2 Shining Arcana, so it's a little bit more focused on Shining Arcana with Paldea Evolved. Then 4 copies of Kirlia, the draw engine of the deck. With Refinement, you can discard a card from hand in order to draw 2 more cards. So this actually stacks. So for every Kirlia out, you can do that. And that means you have super crazy hand advantage, because if you activate 3 Kirlias, then use something like Radiant Greninja, then evolve your Kirlia into Shining Arcana and draw more cards, you could be seeing upwards to 12 cards, which is actually crazy. That's going to help you out with some combos. If you're looking for that Iono, if you're looking for that Reversal Energy or a Rare Candy, these are going to be super helpful. They have low amount of hit points, only 80 HP, but on the other hand, it does help out because you can search them out with Level Ball. Then forward, we're going to be checking out some rolls. You have the option between the Teleportation Burst and the Memory Skip. I always suggest adding in 1 Memory Skip with Paldea Evolved because of the fact that there are, of course, Alolan Vulpix V-Star still in the format, and if you have all Pokemon that have abilities, you cannot attack the Alolan Vulpix. Another check card could, of course, be the Drifloon. The Drifloon in combination with Charm of Courage can also hit some ridiculous damage, but in our specific build of Gardevoir, we are not actually going for that Charm of Courage Drifloon combo. We're heavily focused on consistency, and we're going to try to set up the Shining Arcana time and time again. Definitely, if you take a look at, we are of course having access to Super Rod in this format, which helps a ton. That means we don't have to utilize Clara or Miriam anymore. Memory Skip could also help out against archetypes that only have 1 attack. You could Memory Skip something like a Duraludon, and out of nowhere they're not able to attack because they only have 1 attack. Memory Skip in combination with Iono is also super strong to buy yourself an additional turn. So I would always play 1 copy of the Memory Skip rolls. Moving forward, some other attackers. There is the Cresselia. Cresselia with, of course, the Moonglow reverse helps a ton against the Lost Box matchup. You can move 2 damage counters from each of your Pokemon to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So what we love to do is like a combination between these two. Let's talk about Zacian as well. Roar of the Sword allows you to accelerate an energy from the deck. Your turn does end, but if you turn 1 attach to Zacian, use Roar of the Sword, you can get a Storm Slash going on the following turn. That means turn 2, slapping for a ridiculous amount of damage to KO threats like Cramorant, Comfey, etc. If the Zacian then gets spit on by Cramorant, you can then retreat it to the bench. Use some Moonglow reverse action. You can accelerate energies thanks to the Psychic Embrace ability of Gardevoir EX. Put some on your Kirlia, on the Cresselia. This one is already damaged, so if you're all the way up to 8 damage counters across the field, 2 on 4 Pokemon, you're gonna be able to heal off all that damage with the Moonlight Reverse, and that's how you uptrade against Lost Box. So Cresselia, a very cool Pokemon, helping out against the Lost Box. It's also a nice one-prizer indeed. So we're gonna be playing 1 Cresselia and 1 Zacian V. Some people also try out weirder V in Gardevoir, but I'm just a bigger fan of playing Zacian V as the big one-hit KO machine, because of course you're going to be combining that with Sky Seal Stone to take that additional prize card against V-Star and V-Max Pokemon, so that's going to be very, very good. Next, some utility Pokemon. There is Mew from Celebrations as well as Radiant Greninja. Radiant Greninja, one of the more important cards in the deck to allow you to discard energies and draw 2 more cards. This is the way you can get those psychic energies in the discard pile, because basically you want most of them in the discard pile so you can Psychic Embrace to any Pokemon you want. And then Mew from Celebrations is very strong. I always suggest putting 1 copy of Mew in your Gardevoir list, as you can go for turn 1 attachment onto any Pokemon except for Zacian V, which has a 2 retreat cost, and then you're going to be able to retreat into Mew, use Mysterious Tail ability, and fetch yourself Battle VIP Pass, Fog Crystal, Level. So Mew pretty much is going to help out to get your setup going, and on top of that you're also leaving around a Pokemon that can get KO'd because you don't mind Mew getting knocked out. It's better for a Mew to get knocked out than for a Ralts to see the discard pile. And then Manaphy, could have guessed it already, we want to protect our bench because all of your Kirlias have 80 HP, your Ralts have 70 or 60 HP, so you want to protect them from a Moonlight Shuriken of Greninja. With chien-pao running rampant here and there, you definitely want that Manaphy in play ASAP. If you cannot get it into play, you could actually get swept away by Moonlight Shuriken of Radiant Greninja. Moving forward, Paldea Evolved actually gave us the strongest supporter ever since N came out. We have Iono. Iono here allows you, each player shuffles their hand and puts it on the bottom of the deck. Similar to Marnie, right? But then the effect states each player draws a card for every of their remaining prize cards. So actually it's a mixture of N from Noble Victories and Marnie from the Sword and Shield set. So that's actually pretty interesting. In the Scarlet and Violet meta, this Iono will be legal for 2 more years, and it will have crazy impact on the format. This is great for setting up because a deck like Gardevoir doesn't like to actually research away their resources. Iono is great in the early game, but in the late game it's even more nasty. You can put the opponent to a low hand size, while you can benefit from the fact that you can draw yourself back up with Kirlia, Radiant Greninja, and even a Mew from Celebrations if need be, so you can get your hand advantage once again after you use Iono. So Iono will be the way you win against most decks. Think about chien-pao, think about archetypes like Lost Box, where you Iono them into only 1 or 2 cards. The Mirage Gate combos will definitely not love that, and that's how Gardevoir becomes suddenly the best deck in format. There is going to be 2 copies of Research still in here. That's a nice way to get yourself going into the game. As mentioned, consistency is key, and with, of course, Research, you're going to be able to dig a little bit deeper for VIP passes, to get energies in the discard pile, but more importantly to, of course, start swinging early as possible, because you need those energies in the discard pile. Then 1 copy of Worker. Worker will be necessary. I've seen a lot of decks out there trying to counter Gardevoir by playing Path to the Peak and Iono. This is very scary, so you definitely need 1 copy of Worker. That's your additional stadium bump, which allows you to make sure you can discard Path to the Peak. It also helps out against other stadiums that might hinder you a little bit. Think about Collapse or whatever. So Worker could be a nice card for sure. 1 copy of Boss's Orders. Actually was doubting to actually put 2 copies of Boss's Orders in here, but still decided to go for the one-off since we do have Palpad to regain all those supporters. Instead, this is going to be a very nice ground line to make sure you guys can make Gardevoir EX in the Paldea Evolved format without having to worry about consistency issues. Then 4 copies of Battle VIP Pass. You want to see this card on turn 1 so you can get yourself 2 basic Pokemon. It is the best card to see turn 1, and you can make sure you can find it with the help of Mew from Celebrations. Setting yourself up with 2 additional rolls is always super nice. Could also fetch out Greninja, depends on what you have in hand. Then 4 copies of the Level Ball. Level Ball fetches Gardevoir, your evolution line. So you can fetch Rolls and Kirlia with the Level Ball. That helps out so much because Kirlia is draw engine. So pretty much by turn 2, Level Ball becomes draw 2 because you can find Kirlia. You can also fetch yourself Manaphy when the time is right. And in the early phases, you could fetch Mew to then grab Battle VIP Pass with Mysterious Tail. 3 copies of the Fog Crystal. Fog Crystal is actually super cool because it gets yourself a basic Psychic Energy or it gets yourself a basic Psychic Pokemon. So you have the option. Depends on what you already have in your hand. So the versatility is super cool with Fog Crystal. 3 copies of Ultra Ball is going to be fetching out everything from the deck. So that goes all the way up to Zacian, Greninja, all the way to Gardevoir, your stage 2s. So that's super cool. In this list, I'm also playing 3 copies of Rare Candy. A little bit more aggressive so you can get that turn 2 attack off a little bit easier than ever before. I might not blame you if you cut 1 Rare Candy to add in a second copy of Boss's Orders. My list pretty much wants to attack turn 1, but if you don't attack turn 1, you could also go for the uptrades with Boss's Orders. So technically you have 2 Boss's Orders since there is going to be a Palpat in this list. But if you want to have 2 Boss's Orders and a Palpat, you could also scratch a Rare Candy here. Then Super Rod is back in the format. This is a copy from Noble Victory, so it's super cool to see that we getting some great cards. Ordinary Rod left the format with the base set of Sword and Shield, but now Super Rod returns, and it's actually super great. Put any in combination of Pokemon and energy cards back into your deck. It actually is also eroded. You're going to be able to select up to 3 cards. So if you only want 1 Gardevoir to shuffle back in, that's also possible. But Super Rod is a way in the late game to power up the Psychic, Gardevoir, the Shining Arcana one, to just slap for huge damage. Imagine yourself, your deck is completely empty, you use Super Rod, put in the Shining Arcana and 2 basic energies. On top of that, you're going to be able to use Ultra Ball, fetch the Gardevoir, evolve into the Shining Arcana, and then use the Shining Arcana ability. You're instantly getting 2 Psychic Energies, so additional energy acceleration for the late game to swing with a 1 prize Gardevoir. That's going to be the way Super Rod is going to be utilized. Also nice to get back your Manaphy or to utilize Zacian V once again. Then 2 more item cards. Actually, there is going to be a tool card and an item card. First of all, it's going to be Palpat, allowing you to get your supporters back. That could be additionally, I use this mostly to get back Worker and Boss. But yeah, you can also fetch Iono if you actually want to be Ioning 5 times in a game. It is that technically possible. Then there is a Sky Seal Stone. I'm still a big fan of Sky Seal Stone. A couple of Japanese players have already cut this card, but I'm too much of a fan of Sky Seal Stone not to put it in here, because imagine you're up against Mew VMAX and the Zacian V is able to KO Mew VMAX thanks to Sky Seal Stone, and boom, you get 4 prize cards. Then your prize mapping becomes Gardevoir EX KOs a Genesect and Zacian V KOs a Mew VMAX, and that's the game pretty much. Could also use this against Lugia to uptrade, taking 3 prize cards on the Lugia V-Star also feels super nice. Then for the stadium cards of choice, there's 2 of them that I included in here. 1 Temple of Sinnoh and 1 Collapse Stadium. Collapse Stadium I think is super nice, so you can undo some damage output. You can discard 1 of your Pokemon on the bench if your bench is filled up, and that means that if a damagization is almost knocked out, you can get rid of it with Collapse Stadium. You could also try and include Champions Festival if you have that card, but a lot of people don't have that, so we're going with these 2 cards. Temple of Sinnoh also super strong against Lugia decks. You could go for Iono Temple of Sinnoh, but be wary. There's also going to be carless builds of Lugia, which in theory have not too much of a bad thing going around with Temple of Sinnoh. It's more used for the single strike builds. Could also help against Mew with some fusion energies here and there. It helps. And then there's Collapse, of course, to discard some Pokemon from the bench. Alright, so another thing you could do with Collapse is, by the way, is discard a Pokemon. Let's say you had to put 10 energies onto something like a Zacian, and they say like, haha, now I'm gonna trap you. Well, you can use Collapse to get rid of that Pokemon with all the energies on, so you're not trapped any longer. Okay, moving forward, we're gonna be playing 11 Psychic Energies. Just like before, we're going to be having all these Psychic Energies, having access to them, so you can discard them with Radiant Greninja. You could be, of course, utilizing them with Shining Arcana. You can shuffle them back with Super Rod if need be in the late game, but they are just the bread and butter of a Gardevoir deck, so you can accelerate them with Psychic Embrace. And then to finish it all off, we're going to be playing one copy of Reversal Energy. This is so strong. Gardevoir always falls behind in the early phases, seeing as a Ralts gets knocked out instantly. If you're behind, you can utilize Reversal Energy onto the Shining Arcana Gardevoir, and this counts as 3 energies all at the same time, but only works on non-rule box evolution Pokemon, and that means if you're falling behind, there's 3 energies instantly. That means that the Shining Arcana will definitely knock out a V-Star or V-Max way earlier in the game, which is always awesome to see. One copy of that in here, and that's pretty much the updated Paldea Evolved Gardevoir EX list. Some cards you could flip-flop around. You could also decide to cut Rare Candy, cutting down Reversal Energy and adding in a Drifloon and a Charm of Courage. I wouldn't mind if you do that. It depends on the meta, really. I also, in this current format, I haven't seen a lot of decks playing Lost Vacuum yet, but as soon as people tack in Drifloon with the Charm of Courage as the one price option, people could tack in Lost Vacuum and then you could fall behind in price trade. This list is a very nice ground line to just make yourself started, and it's focused morely on the Shining Arcana Gardevoir. Let me know what you think about this list in the comments down below. Thank you again for watching a detailed deck profile on the updated Gardevoir EX. And as always, go check out our sponsors. Today's video has, of course, been utilized by Dragon Shield sleeves. These are the matte pink ones. They are very cool because, Gardevoir, you know how it goes. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow for more Pokemon TCG epicness. Thank you once again. Peace.